sobriety came.
This sober vet.
Yo live, yo live, yo live,
Our mission is to normalize sobriety with veterans who are using and abusing substances in a harmful, self-medicating way. Welcome, world. I am Army veteran Joe Urick. I am joined by Dr. Teresa Thomas, who is also an Army veteran. What up, Dr. T? How are we?
Hey, I'm doing good. How about yourself, Joe?
Another day sober. So it's another celebration.
That's what's up. That's awesome.
I'm super excited about today's episode, so we're going to jump right in. But first, I want to start with a quick PSA. So I hope you are sitting down. This Sober Vet isn't just a podcast. It's the sound of a man who's been to war, externally and internally, and chose to fight one more battle, the one for his own soul. It's the voice of a veteran who knows what it feels like to carry weight most people will never understand. The weight of deployments, trauma, guilt, silence, and the bottle that seemed like the only relief. But this isn't about the fall. It's about the decision to stand up. This Sober Vet is about reclaiming discipline, not for combat, but for clarity. It's about replacing numbing with feeling, replacing isolation with brotherhood, replacing shame with ownership. It's raw conversations with veterans who have stared down addiction the same way they once stared down the enemy and chose to live. It's proof that sobriety is not weakness. It's strength under control. It's courage without anesthesia. This Sober Vet is for the man or woman who still wakes up at 0300 with memories they can't turn off. For the veteran who smiles in public but struggles in private. For the one who wonders if life can ever feel normal without alcohol or pills. It's a reminder that you're not broken, you're battle tested, and you can win this fight too. Boom.
Outstanding. Cool.
Yeah. That shit was deep, Joe.
Yes.
Oh, that was a beautiful thing. Thank you. I've been holding that one for a while, and I was like, today with Major Sam, like it's just got to be today.
That's it.
So you all the listeners heard that voice back there. I'm excited about our guest today. We have with us Army Major Sam DeBold with the 28th Expeditionary Combat Aviation Brigade, soon to be retired. Sam is now sober and thriving. So welcome, Sam. How are you, sir?
Joe, Dr. T, I'm doing wonderful, and I'm so honored to be on this show, truly.
Likewise. And I want to start by saying the listeners can't see your shirt, but your shirt says "One Day at a Time."
I like that.
That is so relevant. So I love that. Beautiful. So Sam, if you don't mind just starting at the beginning, what made you choose the Army?
Well, Joe, Dr. T, it was a dark and stormy night. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, oh my.
So I was born and raised Western PA, Pittsburgh area. And as I was growing up, my dad's dad, my grandfather, Joe DeBold, he was a Korean War vet. Growing up, he used to tell me all kinds of inappropriate stories for my age about being in Korea and all kinds of nonsense. Gave me bullets they pulled out of him. He shot 3 times, Bronze Star, the whole 9. I'm a kid. I mean, I just love listening to my pap talk. You know what I mean? And so I guess that kind of burned into my subconscious a little bit. But then my parents, they divorced when I was like 13. And I think the last time I saw my grandfather was as a pallbearer at his funeral in 2012. But I love that man. I kind of feel like he's been part of my higher power, throughout my journey, watching me sick and suffering for a long time. But anyway, so yeah, my parents separated. We moved up to Beaver County. It's probably wasn't an ideal location for a young, impressionable 13-year-old to be growing up in. My mother, she was a fall down drunk when my parents separated. Both my parents, alcoholism. I come from a long line of alcoholics, period. So I truly believe it is a hereditary disease.
Right.
But yeah, I started drinking when I was like 13, smoking dope, popping pills, just all all the things a 13, 14-year-old shouldn't be doing. Dropped out of high school when I was 15, and yeah, just was working. Had to work, make money. My mother, my mom worked, but like I was the only one to kind of make it to work sometimes. But I ended up dropping out because I had to work like two, three jobs. One year we moved like nine times.
Wow.
It
Wow.
just a wreck of things. But when I was 18, just hanging out, partying. I remember the day, but I don't remember much else. I was drinking vodka that day, smoking dope, and I remember driving. I was driving up to the Amber Jalaquipa Bridge with some friends and like my old '79 Chevy pickup, and thankfully it was late at night, took the turn too fast. I almost drove over the median into the river.
Mm.
But I hit the one side, cut the wheel, hit the other side. I hit the I hit the sides of the bridge so hard that I had a stake bed, and I hit the bridge so hard that my back bumper flew up into the back of the stake bed.
Holy crap.
Um,
Wow.
Jeez.
so
Mm.
I beat feet across the bridge, drop off my friends. They were all bloodied up, whatever. I'm like, get the fuck out. Turn back around, and my one buddy that lives next to me, I remember driving through the neighborhood, parked the car in the yard, and the local cop pulled up next to me, and he was like, "Everything all right?" And I mean, I'm like blasted, and the truck is like the front end of it looks like a V, like the front tires like are ripped up and flat, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine, whatever." But he's like, and he just went off. Like that should have been my first DUI.
Wow.
But
Wow.
anyway, my mom woke up, seen the truck. I'm sloppy drunk. She was like, "Get the hell out of the house." I get out of the house. Was kind of walking the streets, homeless. Stayed with a friend for about a week, and I don't know. Went to the Army recruiter, man. It was my calling,
Right.
unbeknownst to me at the time. But I needed to do something, so
Right.
I went to the recruiter.
Mm.
Did you have to get your GED in order to join back then, or?
Yeah, so as soon as I dropped out, I went right to community college of Beaver County, got my GED.
Okay.
So I got that out of the way. It's one of those things like I just knew I had to do that. I had to do something, and thankfully I did. So
Good.
Nice. So you're talking to a recruiter. Did he bring up your MOS? Did you get to pick that after looking at a bit, or how'd that part come about?
yeah, they talked me up about all kinds of stuff. I mean, this is 1997, man. So like
Uh-huh.
things
Right.
things are cool, right? I took the ASVAB. I was probably a little baked when I took it, so my score wasn't that great. I had a GED, and the recruiter was like, "Yo, bro," because I wanted to go active duty and get the hell out of there. Change my I don't know lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
But my ASVAB was low, and with the GED, he was like, "I can only get you into the reserves. You can like." He gave me mechanic, some other shit, and then combat engineer. So I'm like, what do they do? And he
Mm-hmm.
told me like they blow things up and they build things and this and that and the other. So I joined as a 12 Bravo and went to basic training, Fort Leonard Wood, Fort Lost in the Woods, as most people know, and graduated AIT in '98. Came home. I was assigned to a construction engineer unit out of New Kensington. It's on the east side of Pittsburgh. I did that for about 6 months, but in that time, if you dig back enough in Major DeBold's records, you're going to find a certificate of AWOL during my time in the reserves because I was heading to drill weekend and stopped off, and at the time I was like reconnected with my deadbeat dad, and ended up staying the whole weekend with him, drinking and smoking, and never showed up for drill.
Mm.
And that's the problem. Like I was started getting into all these bad habits. I went to basic, went to AIT, got all reformed and everything. But then I started hanging back in the same people, places, and things.
Gotcha.
Just getting high and I remember I smoked one time and I actually made it to drill. And I got caught up on a piss test, but I don't know if my sample wasn't the ones they picked, but I squeaked through that one.
Wow.
Wow.
You're
Um,
having a good luck streak between the cops letting you
So
go.
far, huh? So
bro,
far.
bro,
Well, geez.
but it all comes to a head eventually. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, but anyway, so Ambridge Area High School at the time, with a GED, they issued high school diplomas, and I think it was like one of the last years they did it. So the problem with trying to go active duty is I would have had to take the ASVAB again, and I wasn't sure I'd do any better. But with a high school diploma, I'm good. Like with my scores and everything like that, GT, I just had to have a high school diploma. So went to my high school class A's, gave my GED, they gave me a high school diploma, and I went right back down to the recruiter, and I'm like, where can I go?
Okay.
And I had the option of Fort Hood, Korea, and Germany. So which one did I pick?
Korea, right?
Germany.
Uh, Deutschland.
Yes.
Deutschland. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I'd go.
But yeah, so October '98, I was whisked away to the fatherland, and spent 10 years there.
Wow.
What part of Germany were you?
I was in
Uh,
Bamberg, so
Bamberg. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
upper portion of
Mm-hmm.
Franconia, Bavaria.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
How fun was that for a young soldier? How old were you? Were you old enough to like legally drink or?
no, no, no. I was 19 going on 20,
Okay.
and
Mm-hmm.
it you didn't have to be of age. I mean, in Germany, if you can see over the bar, they're serving you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, what better place for somebody that loves a drink than go to Germany?
Uh-huh.
But like a lot of people, I was still having fun. You know what I mean? It wasn't a problem.
Uh-huh.
Um, but but yeah, so went to Germany in October '98. We were a combat mechanized heavy unit, so we supported at the time First ID, First AD was still over there.
Mm-hmm.
So we were directly assigned to them for mobility, counter mobility, survivability operations. Um, and we lived in the field. Every other month, we're in the field for 30 days.
Mm.
It's just what it was. So, like, we work hard, we play hard. It's even in the engineer cadence. We are the engineers. We can't demolish 30 beers, right? True story. But everything was cool for a while. I ended up meeting a German and young, and got married too young, and all that fun stuff. I'll
Mm-hmm.
close the loop on that in a minute. But yeah, so I was TDY at the time during 9/11, right? I'll just get right to that. I was at the Sapper Leader course back at Fort Lost in the Woods, and I remember in the first week, you're shut off from everything. You're just there to train and get beat up. And on September 11th in the morning, we're doing demo training, demo calculations, and the instructor comes in like early in the morning. Is like, hey sappers, plane just crashed into the World Trade Center, and we're like, what? And about 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, he comes back in and he was like, hey sappers, we got problems.
Hmm.
And I'm me and a bunch of dudes, man. We're there at TDY, and we got to get back to Germany. I'm like, are we even going to be able to fucking get back?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Um, but anyway, so we got through the course. They didn't cut it short or anything. And as far as sapper school goes, buddy's only half the word. Because yeah, I went through the course. I got a certificate of I don't know what completion. But I was the PO on the last patrol. And I just literally went around and woke everybody's ass up. It's like the end of the course, right? And
Uh,
as soon as I walked around the patrol base, here comes the instructors. Everybody's fucking sleeping, and
Mm.
he's like, "PO, you're fucking fired." I'm like, "Oh
ah,
my god!" Like I
golly.
needed that. I needed that patrol. I mean, as far as I knew, they don't tell you anything. It's all about points and shit. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I went through the course. I learned a lot about myself. It was a great leadership school. It wasn't like a DA approved school at the time, so like you get a tab, but you couldn't wear it. We used to wear them under our flaps on the
Okay.
BDUs back in the day. But anyway, so finally get home from that. We were already slated for a Kosovo deployment at the time. My company out of the battalion. So it
Mm-hmm.
was like under the guise of like OEF at the time. So we deployed Kosovo in 2002, and in May 2002 to like end of November 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And that was crazy. It was anything but peacekeeping. I mean, we were running interdiction missions on the Fyron border, former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonian border.
Mm-hmm.
We were taking up armor Humvees on freaking goat trails, like since Jesus walked the earth. These trails ain't been
Yeah.
walked on.
Yeah.
But and we're out there in the middle of the night, just wilding. And I remember one night I just got off the traffic control point with my squad, and then like we immediately go into QRF mode after that. And then that night there was all these house bombings and shit, and so we get activated. And the funny thing is, though, not funny, but one of the guys of the two guys that were next to one of the houses that blew up, they got Purple Hearts. And
Mm.
the one guy, Staff Sergeant Jerry Burge, he actually met his fate in Iraq in an IED, I think, in 2009.
Mm,
I
rest
think
Uh,
I lost too many people to keep track of them all, but
yeah.
as a lot of us have.
Are you enjoying these stories of veterans totally rocking it with sobriety? Here at This Sober Vet podcast, we want to keep bringing these warriors' tales of triumphs to you. However, we need your help to make that happen. We're in need of sponsors for this Sober Vet podcast. That's right, now's the time to show your support, advertise your brand, or just make a monetary donation. It's easy. Just go to our website, www.thissobervet.com. To become a sponsor, fill out the form on our contact page. To donate, just click on support the mission. Let's keep shining a light for those still in the dark.
Anyway, so we get back from that deployment, and I was home for maybe, I get back late November, early December. I get a call from my platoon sergeant, like I got to go on purple ramp detail at Ramstein Air Base, which that's where you like help units like funnel through the air base to
Mm-hmm.
wherever their destination is. And I was the NCOIC for that. And it was all the people coming from CONUS for the ramp up potential invasion of Iraq, which, as we all know, happened.
Right.
And so I'm on my way home, right? I mean, I'm like, I got ripped off block leave to go on this detail, so I'm already salty. And so now I'm on my way home. It's like right around New Year's Eve. And on the way home, my platoon sergeant calls me. He was like, "Hey, Sergeant DeBold, we got a battalion muster formation tomorrow morning. It's like New Year's Day, 2003." I'm like, "Oh, great." And so we go to the formation, and battalion commander's like, he looks at our company. He was like, "Bravo company, don't unpack your shit." We're still waiting for our connexes from Kosovo,
Mm.
to come back. And he's like, "Bravo, don't unpack your shit. We got railhead in a week. We're all punching our ticket to go to Kuwait and prep for an invasion." So, yeah, that them 2.5, 3 years, I'm telling you, it was just it broke me as a young man. You
Yeah.
know, but I did what I was told to do, and
Mm-hmm.
we packed our shit, we railheaded, and was we landed in Kuwait like I don't know, like mid-January 2003, and we stayed at like Camp Virginia for a hot minute, which is still kind of there. I saw in 2020 deployment, but and it's funny too because like when we were there, me and a couple of my buddies were outside smoking and joking after chow, and like this dude comes up like all bloody and shit. It was that I think it was a major threw a grenade from the 101st. He threw a grenade in one of the tents,
Ooh,
and
Oh, right.
this kid was like there, and we're like, "What the fuck?" You know what I mean? Like this dude
Uh,
comes up just like all bloody, just like I don't know. It was
that's
crazy times.
wild.
But when the writing started getting on the wall, we moved out of Camp Virginia, stationed like a tactical assembly area, like within 10 clicks of the Iraq border, and waited for the call. My platoon, my squad, we marked one of the main routes through the berm
Mm.
into Iraq for when the balloon went up, and
okay.
and it did.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. So what were your thoughts when that was happening, like when it was go time?
Uh, I mean, we all just got back from deployment. We were home for like a month, maybe. So we were all salty. We were just like,
Yeah,
let's
like
fucking
fuck,
let's roll.
man.
Like
Right, yeah.
let's
Uh-huh.
do this.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do it, let's do it. Let's end it and get our ass back on a plane.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which eventually we did. But it was weird, man. Like I remember as I guess President Bush was addressing the nation, like when we were there, um, I mean, it was just multiple launch rocket systems going off, and it's just like mass chaos, just like happening. And
Yeah.
we're throwing on our mop suits, because we were going to get slimed at some point, and
Mhm.
carbolic gap and all this shit. So we're like hustling, getting our mop gear on, and like since it's 1,000 degrees in the desert, like we were all butt
Yes.
ass naked, putting our mop suits on in
Yes.
the middle of the desert, right? In this chaos. I mean, it was it felt like there should have been like Flight of the Valkyries playing in the background, like with everything going on. But yeah, but once we started pushing through the border, it just things kind of it was just very slow, methodical, ducks in a row kind of
Mhm.
thing. Trying to think, it was a crazy time, man. Um, but I remember when we finally pushed to the other side, the sun's just coming up, and we're like stationed all around, getting refueled around this old UN compound from like the Desert Storm time frame.
Mhm.
Oh, and that's the other thing too. It's when we were before you get to the berm or the border, like from horizon to horizon, there was all these old tank defiles and old blown up tanks from Desert Storm and shit. And as the
Dang.
engineers, like we had to proof the lane,
Uh-huh.
make sure there wasn't any like UXO or mines and shit like that. But we get over to the other side, and the first dead body I seen was like covered with a poncho, and there was like all these freaking feral dogs eating it and shit. And we're all just
Damn.
standing there, like staring at it, like, should we shoot the dogs? And we're
Right.
like, nah, fuck it, man. He's hungry. And we
Damn.
just rolled. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so what? Welcome
Yeah.
to war, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, then just pushing across the desert. I could tell you, an armored brigade is not designed to march across the soft desert sand for days. It was a very trying push, but we pushed, and once we got to the hardball, the main MSR, man, we were rolling.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, it's and throughout, we had some wet gap crossings and shit, and random impacts, some rockets, and dealt with a lot of POWs and a lot of dead. Um,
Mhm.
and like I was telling, I've been going through the VA appointments for my claim for retirement here, and I remember
Okay.
talking to the doc about, and I'm just talking, to me it's just what it was, but
Mhm.
I remember he took note of the comment that I said about the like the putrid, rancid smell of a rotting dead body in the Iraqi sun, and
Mhm.
he's like, can you say that again? I'm like, and it's true. Like, it doesn't smell like a dead deer on the side of the highway, man. It's a whole different smell. And we had to
Mhm.
clean up so many dead bodies. And, we put them in shallow graves.
Yeah.
But the problem was eventually they had to get dug back up, right? And it was hard, when the families started coming out and dragging their dead sons and fathers, and
Yeah.
it was just ugly, man. But it was what it was.
Yeah, that's tough.
And like we had this one guy, he drove a C truck, and a C truck is like a real top heavy, like, engineer vehicle with a bucket loader on the front
Okay.
and a backhoe on the rear end of the vehicle. Well,
Mhm.
I mean, we had so many dead bodies like piling up in certain places. Like he would just scoop them up
Yeah.
and like trash and just dump them in these holes. But
Mhm.
we gave him the nickname Chopper because when he was picking these bodies up, they would like cut in half and just mangling them, and
Damn.
it's just sick. But
Yeah.
I mean, at the time, like you just like whatever.
Mhm.
But I'll fast forward a little bit, like as when things after main combat operations were wrapping up, and we transitioned into this bullshit peacekeeping thing. I don't know what you want to call it.
Mhm.
After we seized Baghdad, we were staying at this logistics port area, LSA Anaconda, and the a young kid that was in my unit. You know, we were deployed to Kosovo prior to this. We're doing command maintenance, and then we heard a gunshot. He tried killing him. Well, he did kill himself,
Mm.
but he instead of like choke starting the muzzle on his M4,
Mm-hmm.
he shot himself in the chest. I guess trying to hit his heart, but ended up puncturing his lung and just ended up drowning on his own blood.
Mm.
Um,
Damn.
so that was a little harsh. I had a lot of issues with that for a long time. PFC Pablo Manzano, he was only
Mm.
20,
Yeah.
just a young kid, man. And but who better to NCOIC the convoy to take him to BIOP to hand him off to the mortuary affairs than Sergeant DeBold? And somebody that you knew that you're close with, seeing him in a body bag is just,
Yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah. To say the least. To say the
But
least. Yeah.
I put together this convoy and throw him in the truck, and we get the BIOP, and I send my guys back out to the vehicles to do maintenance while I'm waiting to hand it off to the mortuary affairs team. And
Mm-hmm.
while I'm sitting there waiting, I unzipped his bag and just kind of tried to say my piece with him and say goodbye. But like his cold, lifeless body,
Yeah.
just I'm thinking about his parents and his family, and
Mm-hmm.
just it just hurt me for a long time.
Yeah.
But and it could, and then and like I was telling the doc when I was going through my points, I ain't talk about this for I don't know ever to anybody.
Yeah.
But I used to have a lot of dreams, about that, sitting with him, and sometimes I'd be dreaming like I'm just staring at him. Other times his eyes are open.
Mm-hmm.
Other times he's reaching for me. And he's always scared. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's just sad. But I kind of come to terms with that, um, as best I could. Um,
It's good that you're able to talk about it, Sam, because these are the things of war that a lot of people deal with and just aren't able to verbalize. So the fact that you're kind of able to talk about it and verbalize it is part of healing.
it is, and I've learned to not hide from myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like these last couple years has just been just so freeing for me,
Yeah.
with the alcohol and the addiction, and opening Pandora's box, and
Mm-hmm.
facing all of these things that I self-medicated over for decades,
Yeah.
literally decades. Um, it's just been so refreshing. Yeah, it hurts to think about things. It hurts to talk about things and revisit stuff, but it's healing though. It's
Mm-hmm.
getting it out, um,
Yeah.
and that's been helpful. But man, I think I'm getting a little winded with the whole history of Sergeant DeBold.
No, you're
But
fine.
You're all right. Yeah.
So once you came stateside, was drinking, is that when kind of drinking ramped up for you, or can you talk more about that?
yeah, so well, I'll fast forward past Iraq. I did leave active duty in 2005. I came down on orders for Fort Campbell,
Mm-hmm.
from Germany, and my first marriage, I knew that was failing. My ex was a German. She didn't want to go back to the States.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to go back to the States, and I certainly didn't want to go to the 101st because I knew they were just doing a turn and burn, and I'll be right back.
Going back. Yeah.
Yeah. But so I saw my declination statement in January 2005. I got out and stayed in Germany. Didn't know what I wanted to do. So I enrolled at an American accredited university in Heidelberg in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got back drinking, it just it's the only thing, man, that helped. I mean, Um, it was crazy. I was living very reckless when I
Mm-hmm.
got back from Iraq. Being in Iraq, we were outside the wire every damn day, man. Like
Yeah.
running TCPs, doing presence patrols, doing cordon searches, just kicking in doors. I mean, every day was my last day.
Yeah.
And when you're like in your mid 20s and you're ready to face your maker
Yeah.
every fucking day,
Yeah.
like it's just you get numb to your own mortality. That's the best way I can put it. So when I got back and I got out, I just lived like that. I was free from the army. I
Mhm.
just drank however I wanted to. Um, and as bad as it sounds, like it got really bad, um, you know, much later in my life.
Okay.
But but yeah, so went to college, ended up getting divorced, and thankfully there was a beautiful young woman that was studying abroad from Temple,
Mhm.
and she was kind of going through her own thing in a failed marriage, and I don't know, the universe is funny that way, and we just kind of hit it off, and 20 years later, we're still going strong.
That's all
But
right.
it's
Very
been a
cool.
long, hard road, man. Long, hard road,
Yeah.
and I'll talk a little bit about that too. But yeah, so I came stateside in 2008.
Mhm.
Had a great time in Germany and Heidelberg and getting my degree. Um, and So I came stateside in 2008. Uh, I was unemployed, underemployed. I couldn't get a good job. And, for me, I'm like, I'm a disabled vet because I got a 20% disability through the VA when I left active duty.
Mhm.
I got a degree. I was in leadership positions. Like, I should be able to get whatever job, and
Mhm.
get paid. But I couldn't, man. And it was hard. So 2009, I tried going active duty initially, but I was working with a recruiter in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and that dude was worthless, man. He just, because I had the VA thing, so he
Mhm.
was like, "Well, I need something from the VA to, so I can get your paperwork going." Well, when I finally got hold of a human being at the VA, they're like, "Look, bro, we ain't gonna send you shit. You send us a copy of your orders when you get shipped out, so we stop paying you your comp and pen."
Uh-huh.
And I
Okay.
told the recruiter that, and he was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." I'm like, "All right, dude, whatever, man." So I kind of gave up on it. And the guy that I was working with at Target at the time, his kid just joined the National Guard in Pennsylvania,
Okay.
and his recruiter was great, and he turned me on to him. And within 30 days, I was raising my right hand into the OCS program, Officer Candidate School,
Okay.
for the PA Guard.
Okay.
Um, so did the OCS thing and commissioned in September 2010 as a quartermaster officer. Wanted to
Yeah,
get into
quartermaster.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Logistics, baby.
Yeah.
Um, but I wanted to do something that could translate into civilian sector
Right.
when I finally, for good, hang it up.
Right.
Um, but yeah, so again, throughout the years, I was drinking. I drank a lot, always in excess. But again, it wasn't a problem.
Mhm.
Um, Occasionally, I'd say like, I need to slow down, and I kind of would, or I try to control my drinking while drinking, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, but So once I got into the guard, I was like a traditional M-Day guy, just doing the 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year for the first, I don't know, couple years. And then in 2012, I got picked up for active duty operational support orders, which is kind of like active duty, but with a caveat. Every year you got to renew your orders and stuff like that. It's not, you can't retire from ADOS. It's just these full-time
Okay.
orders that you pick up here and there. But 2012 is critical because that's when I got a DUI. Um,
Mm.
Me and my wife, we were not in a place for me to get a fucking DUI.
Uh-huh.
My daughter at the time, I have two kids, a son and daughter. My daughter at the time, she was a toddler, and it was just a mess. I wasn't doing active duty stuff yet. I was still working at Target. We're struggling to make ends meet.
Mhm.
Um, but the funny thing about this story is, so we were living in media at the time, out eastern PA around Philly area. So me and my buddy that I worked with at Target, we go hit the bar, and I didn't drink any more. than I usually would. Like I had maybe too many double shots of Jameson too fast, maybe drank the beer too fast. But I mean, I was feeling good. I wasn't like one eye open,
Mm-hmm.
trying to, stop seeing two lanes and just see one. But I was lit. But anyway, I drop him off at his house when we get done with the night, and I'm buzzing literally 5 minutes away from my house, and I'm buzzing down this back road in Media. Well, I took this turn a little too fast, and I guess the road was slick. Well, instead of hugging the turn, I kept going straight and slammed into a bunch of trees, airbags
Mm-hmm.
deployed.
Yeah.
So I called my buddy that I just dropped off. I'm like, yo, bro, I need help, man. So he gets in his little minivan, comes pick me up, takes me the other minute and a half to my house. So we're sitting there, and I'm like, yo, bro, do you know anybody that's got like a fucking tow truck or whatever to like
Mm-hmm.
get this car out of here real quick? It didn't matter. But so he said he was going to go see what he could do. And as he left, as soon as he left, there was like a knock on my door. And we lived in an apartment building. There was like two stadies and a couple locals like
Mm.
standing in my doorway. And, they're like, "Are you Sam DeBold?" I'm like, "Yep." And they're like, "Did you have an accident?" I'm like, "Yep." They're like, "Could you come with us?" So they take me back to the car. Like, "This you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they were concerned, like, if I had a kid in the car because the baby seat was still in the back. And they're like,
Mm.
"Was there a kid in the car?" I'm like, "No, my daughter's at home sleeping with my wife." But the funny thing is, as they were cuffing me and taking me to go get my blood drawn, get my blood alcohol content, my buddy that left, and when he left, there was another statey that followed him, pulled him over, and got him with a DUI.
No way.
Wow.
And it was his like ninth DUI.
Mm.
So he ended up having to do like fucking 90 days in county.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, I mean, I think he was like contemplating suicide. But
Mm.
anyway, so I jammed him up, obviously jammed me and my family up,
Mm-hmm.
but went through all that BS. And And I guess the moral of the story is I quit drinking for a year. I mean, I was depressed. I
Cold
mean,
turkey.
yeah, cold turkey. Like, I'm
Okay.
like, I'm done drinking. Like,
Wow.
I was a mess, and the thousands of dollars that DUIs cost and the court
Mm.
fees and community service and all that bullshit. I mean, I did the ARD thing, but it don't matter. I didn't like get it expunged because if anybody wants to find out if Sam DeBold, has a record, it don't matter. You can find whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I did do ARD, which helped. But now back to the Army, even with all that going on, and I was transparent with the people that were bringing me on orders, like, "Hey, I got this going on." Um, like, "All right, well, you're in the ARD, and yeah, you're flagged, but once you get done with the program,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be good, right?" So I did the ADOS thing. And I didn't drink for a year. And then as that year was coming to a close, I'm like, man, I haven't had a drink in a year. I'm good. Like I can control it. And
Mm-hmm.
I started drinking again, 2013. Um, and I continued to drink um, religiously uh, and progressively up until 2024.
Mhm.
Wow.
Um,
Isn't it interesting the lies we tell ourselves because we're like, I've been without it for a year. Like, yeah, that's the
it's that
worst.
alcoholic mind, man.
It is, yeah, that's tough.
During this time, like, are you having nightmares? Are you are what's going on in your mind during this time? Because you experienced a lot during deployment.
I'm I'm just angry a lot. I'm angry
Uh
at the world.
huh. Uh huh.
Um, things should be better.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't be struggling like this with just getting through life.
Yeah.
I served my country, went to
Right.
war, I did
Right.
did the things and seen the things that can't be unseen and undone. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like what the fuck? But I'm
Yeah.
just angry at the world, and I was angry for
Got it.
a long time, all the way up until I quit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I eventually ended up getting picked up active guard reserve in the end of 2015, so like FY 2016, and I was like, in the guard, like when you move around the state to positions, it's a PCS, but like nobody moves their family, man, around the state. Like you go geo bachelor, you know what I'm
Uh
saying?
huh.
Like geographic bachelor, family stays where you're living, and because your kids are in school and doing the things, you got the house. There's no reason to move my family from West Shore of Harrisburg to Scranton. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that was my first tour. So Geo Bachelor, I could just drink how I wanted to. Yeah, I did the things and the stuff. I mean, I'm a very high functioning alcoholic,
Uh-huh.
and I'll try and hit it as we go along. But the state substance abuse coordinator actually re retermed her substance abuse program slide deck to high functioning alcoholic and the
Mm-hmm.
characteristics and all that stuff, right? So, but very high functioning. I was always a go-to guy in the logistics world. I knew people up and down the flagpole. Like
Yeah.
I'm the 911. Like when people like in other units like are having problems, it's like let me call Lieutenant DeBold, let me call Captain DeBold, let me
Yeah.
call Major DeBold. Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey man, I need help. No, I got you. You know, I was very reliable, very resourceful, very good at what I did. And I ain't toot my own horn. I ain't God's gift to logistics or the army or nothing like that.
Nah. Yeah.
But and I think having the enlisted background too kind of made me a well-rounded officer.
Officer. Yeah.
Anyway, so the drinking career. I finally, well, when I went on deployment in 2020, 21, up leading up to that deployment, I was a training officer for my battalion, 628 Aviation Support Battalion.
Okay.
That's when I started to get into drinking all day. Um,
Mm.
I had my Yeti mug or
Uh-huh.
whatever. Sometimes it was just topped off with Yingling Lager, or sometimes it was coffee and Jack, Jim, or James, whatever I could squeeze in there.
Mm.
Think Thinking like ain't nobody gonna know, but sometimes people be like, "Hey, I could smell that." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Right? But
Yeah.
anyway, I was under a lot of stress, and with the deployment coming up and all the requirements on me, it just kind of helped me get through the day. So that's where I started conditioning myself to drink consistently. There was no like, "Hey, I'm gonna have some after work." It was like, "Nope, I'm just gonna start drinking whenever I feel like it,
Mm-hmm.
and whenever I stop," which would be when I passed out.
Wow.
But my last deployment in 2020, 21, I was primarily stationed in Kuwait, but I got to float around to like Iraq, Jordan, Syria. I was a support operations officer, so doing a lot of like that's a clutch position, man, as
Mm-hmm.
an officer, right, in logistics, being the SPO, and especially on deployment.
Okay. Yeah.
I had such a wonderful deployment. I had a great team.
Mm-hmm.
We made some magic happen. It was awesome. Um,
Okay.
and I think the deployment was great because of all those things, but I think it was good because I wasn't drinking,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I had a clear mind, clear head. I was focused. And oh, by the way, going back to Iraq in '03, I would be drinking NyQuil. I'd be doing whippets, the canned air in the back of the truck. Haji would have a soda stand set up, and he'd have like little bottles of Russian whiskey or scotch that I
Yeah.
would drink.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, so I found a way to drink back in '03, and I'm surprised I didn't get jammed up over it. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, so when I get back from deployment in 2021, I thought I was going to have some stability in my position as an AGR soldier. And within 4 months, I was getting moved across the state to Washington, PA, to
Oh,
be the Brigade S4 for the 2nd Infantry Brigade Combat Team, which was one of my most enjoyable, rewarding positions I probably had to round out my career. But this is when I started to get out of control with drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I had people that I thought drank a lot tell me that I'm drinking too much, and it ain't like nobody was pushing on me. They're like, you probably need to slow down, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got to a point where I wasn't sleeping well, and I finally got diagnosed with sleep apnea. But I don't think it was so much the sleep apnea. I think it was I was going through withdrawals every night, right? Like my
mhm.
body woke
Mm-hmm.
me up at like 3 in the morning because I needed a drink, and I did.
Mm-hmm.
For like the last 3 years of my drinking career, I seen a bumper sticker one time that said, I didn't know rock bottom had a basement. That's where I was. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think
So,
it was easier because Frank? Do you think you got to hide behind that and people didn't question you as much?
kind of. And this is something I tell people I talk to all the time. Like I go talk to units. Like before I got out, I'm like, if you care enough about somebody, regardless of anything, and you see something wrong and it has something to do with drinking or addiction, say something.
Yes.
Because there was one good friend, like, because after I came clean and went to rehab and all that, um, a lot of people were like, yeah, man, I knew something was going on, but I didn't want to say nothing. And, because one, people respected me, and two, people
Hmm.
really didn't know how bad it was.
Yeah.
They really didn't. They really didn't. They knew something was up, but nobody knew I was drinking a fucking case of beer every day in my office. They could smell it, you know, but I was literally putting away about a case of beer a day in my office.
Like, damn, Sam.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
going in.
I mean, there were some
Yes.
days I left the office like with one eye open driving home. It's like a 30-mile drive because,
Oh,
I put down like 18, 24 beers, I'm talking 16 ounces.
yeah.
And I'd go see somebody that I know got like square bottles with brown water in it. So I go
Uh-huh.
see them and I take a couple chugs of that, get that bump, like, because, you drink beer, it just starts bringing you down, man. I need to get something to get up there again.
Mhm.
And I'd be driving home with one eye open and just a mess.
Attention veteran entrepreneurs, we've got a special announcement just for you. Marathon Business Advisory Services is proud to present a unique opportunity, a J-Dog franchise, veteran owned and ready for its next chapter. Whether you're looking to own your first business or grow through acquisition, this could be the perfect fit. And the best part, it's completely confidential, with no cost and no obligation to explore the opportunity. Just reach out to Jay Calandra at j.calandra@marathonbas.com to learn more. Support veteran success. Build your future. Let Marathon guide the way.
But I told myself when I got back from Washington, from that duty assignment, I was gonna stop drinking. I wasn't gonna drink like this. I wasn't gonna stop drinking, but I wasn't gonna drink like this.
Hmm.
So when I got back from Washington, back working down at the Fort Indian Town Gap, I'm like, all right, I'm back now. I'm home every night. I can't hide this from my wife, um, and this and that and the other. And oh, by the way, inject the behavioral health and starting to go to counseling. So I started counseling in 2022. Um,
Okay.
I was going to behavioral health, but not dealing with the real problem. Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
had severe depression issues,
Hmm.
anxiety, like all these things.
Right.
Yeah, as a result of my alcoholism, but it was also a result of all the decades of not dealing with all
Yep.
the other shit.
Exactly.
Um, so, started getting the meds to help balance the chemicals in my brain. But I
Hmm.
was to a point in drinking that I officially reprogrammed my brain uh, to not create the natural dopamine and all the chemicals that the brain naturally creates. I shut those down and replaced that natural creation of those chemicals in my brain with alcohol.
Hmm.
So I didn't realize that until I was in rehab for 30 days. Um, and when I came home, yeah, I was doing the therapy and stuff, but I was drinking more. If that was even a thing, I was drinking more.
Wow.
Um, and I was destroying my marriage. I mean, I was destroying it for years, but because like when we have things at the house with friends, everybody drinks, everybody has a good time. Like my every time we have a get together, my wife would say, "Watch how much you drink tonight," and I get so mad at her. I'm like, "We're
Hmm.
having a party. Everybody's drinking. Who cares?"
Yeah.
So like I'm literally hiding how much I'm drinking when we're drinking. Like she thinks I'm on like my second or third, and I'm on my 18th or 19th. You know what I mean? Like
Wow. Yeah.
I was stealing like shit from her. Like we used to have a little fridge in the garage with like vodkas and gin and whatever. Like she likes
Mm-hmm.
all that fruit stuff. And I'd be replacing it with water because I'd be sipping it and sipping it and sipping it. I'm like, oh man, she's
Wow.
gonna notice I was drinking this, and hiding. I started hiding bottles, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was finding like empty beer cans and half like pints of Jack like everywhere in my car, in the house, in the basement, in the shed, like all the things and stuff, man. I used to make excuses on the weekend to go, take a 12 pack to the face. Like, hey, I got to go run out some errands.
Mm.
Oh my God, good times.
Mm.
Um,
Wow.
but so I had a lieutenant colonel that was full time. Uh, when I finally decided, it was the 6th of May, 2023, or 24. Sorry. When I woke up from a blackout on a Sunday. It was May 5th. I passed out on the couch, at like 5 in the afternoon in my clothes, and my wife was out, and I was making dinner, and she came home, and we're eating. I could barely like cut the meat on my plate, and I remember talking to her like some slurred whatever. I was probably all googly eyed. I mean, I was wasted. I drank like 2 bottles of her whatever vodka or something in the fridge. Like
Mm.
I was shit faced, man. So I black out. I wake up the next morning, get ready to go to work. Um, and I don't know, like that was the beginning of the end. Um, and I remember I texted her, or I called her. I think she texted me because I think she found the empty bottles in the trash or the recycling.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I came home that day, and I'm like, I looked at her and I said, I'm done drinking. I'm done drinking. And I could see the look on her face was like, yeah, sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
And rightfully so. But I had a lieutenant colonel like a day or two later. Like I remember I went to talk to him, and he would tell me, like a lieutenant colonel to a major, he's like, yo, man, I knew you had something in your cup every time you came in this office. And I'm thinking, like, man,
Mm.
all this time is like, I think I'm hiding it. But he's like, you need to go away. Like, you need to go to rehab. And I'm a battalion executive officer. We got annual
Yeah.
training coming up. Like,
Yeah.
this ain't the time to be stepping out, man.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the best thing I did. It
Yeah.
saved my life. It
Wow.
saved my life.
What that look like for you in the beginning once you hit rehab? Like, what was the hardest thing you're dealing with? What was surprising? Like,
When I finally like surrendered, right? When I
Mm-hmm.
finally accepted that, my life was unmanageable, it uh it was a relief. It was a relief. And I remember when I came home and I finally got everything scheduled and set up to go to rehab, I went to Virginia Hospital Center. And I remember coming home and telling my wife, like, you got to hold the fort down for 30 days because I got to go away. I got to go away. I needed, I've white knuckled it before. I mean, when I went to rehab, they're like, when was your last drink? And I'm like, oh, it was the 5th of May. And they're like, and this is like mid May at this point. They're like, what was withdrawals like? You could have died, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
right.
But yeah, I white knuckled it, man. It was a lot of sleepless nights and cold
Mm.
sweats and nausea and just all the things and stuff that come from, cleaning
Withdrawal.
your system out, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't have to go through like a withdrawal process by the time I got to rehab. Um, and yeah, I showed up, and it was I could breathe when I got there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is now, like, this is a commitment. This is happening. This is a one-way ticket, man. There ain't no
Yeah.
coming back to this. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And the Virginia Hospital Center, man, them nurses, that staff. I mean, they're they were amazing. They were angels. Because
Good.
man, some people that came through them doors while I was there, they looked like wild animals, man.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But it wasn't until like I got there like on a Wednesday, and every Sunday the hospital had a AA group in the first floor, and we'd be required to go. It was a real big group, and it was the first AA I ever been to, so I didn't even
Mm-hmm.
know what any of that was about. And they had a guest speaker, and not that it matters, but it was a woman, and when she got done, the light bulb went on. She said my story, and you
Mm-hmm.
hear it a lot. I've been in AA now almost a couple years, and every everybody shares the same story. We all come from we all take a different path,
Yeah.
um, but it's all the same thing, man. We live to die through
Mhm.
alcohol. And then through AA, man, I read the big book front to back. I tabbed it, I highlighted it, just like a good officer does. I was about education, man. I read another book they gave us. It was called Beyond the Influence, and that's
Mm-hmm.
where I learned the science behind why I was drinking the way I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, it was really powerful, and I mean, the education, man, just understanding it.
What was the science behind? Because I'm curious. Because your story is just like my story, almost to the T. So yeah, what is the science behind that?
Well, like I said, it's the natural chemicals that our brain creates. When you get to a point with addiction, you stop creating the feel good feelings, right? The things that make you happy or sad or whatever, right? Them transmitters in our brains, they stop working. You shut them off
Wow.
because you artificially replace it with your addiction, with whatever substance, right? Opioids or alcohol. We literally turn them off.
Hmm.
And I think that's, I mean, sure you guys, have heard it or experienced it. Like when I was in rehab, I still do occasionally, but like the vivid dreams of drinking,
Yeah.
right? That's our brain starting to rewire itself again, right? Um, and yeah, they're powerful. It's like those are my relapses. Like having
Mm-hmm.
those nightmares are my relapse.
Hmm.
And not just hearing other people relapse and how shitty they feel, and
Mm-hmm.
they got to start over. Like I kind of live vicariously through them too. Um, but like there's no going back, man. But like yeah, it's truly like rewiring your brain. We turn off those natural chemicals through alcohol or whatever our addiction is. That in a nutshell, Joe, right?
Hmm.
That's the science behind it, and it's simple as I can make it. But it goes so much more in depth. And another great book I read, and it's more for the trauma side of things, is The Body Keeps the Score.
Oh
It's
yeah, that's a great
yeah,
one. Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you. And the thing between both of them books is like they break it down um, so that we can understand it, right? Not in the medical
Mm-hmm.
jargon and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was really just educating myself. What was huge, and the big book's great, and AA is great. It's a tool, it's not the tool.
Hmm.
Like last night, I just went to a smart recovery meeting because I've been trying to get to one of them, and that was really cool, man. I really like that program, and it helps complement all that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys ever heard of it or anything like that. Smart recovery.
Yeah, I've heard of smart recovery too. Yeah. 'Cause some folks don't care for the AA and the higher power, and
Right.
so they'll smart recovery works better for me. They'll say so.
Yeah.
It's just alternative.
I know since I've been on the recovery path, like through the state with the state substance abuse coordinator and
Mm-hmm.
with my now sponsor, George, um, about a little over a year ago, we started AA at the Gap.
Oh, cool.
Um,
Good.
we've been trying to. It hasn't been gaining the traction. Like I'm trying to get out to the veterans community. I really want to
Mm-hmm.
help those folks because look, I think the veteran community is some of the saddest group of people out there sick and suffering because we drink for all kinds of other reasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
The self-medication and, burying trauma and not dealing with those demons in Pandora's box. It's just easier to
Mm-hmm.
self-medicate and, put a smile on your face and say, yeah, I'm good. But eventually the
Mm-hmm.
chickens come home to roost, right?
It comes up. Yeah, it comes up. That goes back to that, suck it up and drive on. You just suck it up and drive on.
hmm
Many years of sucking it up and driving on, but eventually, like you said, it's going to come up. It's going to come up.
when I talk to soldiers, like, um, I try to I try to one show them it's okay to not be okay. Um,
Mhm.
you know, and I think too, like through rehab, and I try and echo this to them is like self-compassion. We destroy ourselves because we don't care anymore. We don't love ourselves. We don't, I don't know, like 40 pounds underweight by the time I was quitting drinking. I mean, I was just malnourished. I would eat because out of necessity. Um,
Mhm.
but I didn't want to eat too much because I don't want to kill my buzz. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
And yeah, it's you got to love yourself, and that's what I learned through rehab is caring about Sam. Like,
Yeah.
and another good book too. Another book I read. It's called Man's Search for Meaning, and
Mhm.
one of the key statements in that, and it's towards the end. It's a psychologist that went through the concentration camps and survived, and
Mhm.
he's a psychologist, and I mean
Mhm.
the shit that he went through was fucking horrendous,
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah.
but he made it through, and he tells a very detailed story of all those experiences. But
Mhm.
in the title of the book, Man's Search for Meaning, uh, he poses the question to people towards the end is like everybody is always saying, what do I want out of life? So it's a selfish ask, right? What do I expect out of life? What do I want out of life? Instead of asking that, ask what does life expect out of me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? What
Yeah.
is my purpose? What do I have to provide?
Mhm.
Instead of selfishly waiting for something to
Mhm.
come to you. And I
Mhm.
say that to say that, like, that's what my purpose is now. Life wants me to help people. Life wants me to share my story. Life wants me to talk to the veteran community, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what my purpose is.
Yeah.
And sharing my story. I've
Mhm.
helped people. I've tried to help people. They fall off their way, but they try to get back on it, but
Mhm.
they're reaching out, they're asking me, and I'm trying to show them, you know, as best I can, right?
Absolutely. That's outstanding.
That is great. And that's such a good purpose. And I feel like you're so well suited for it because you
Yeah.
were on both sides of the fence. So you could
Yeah.
relate to the NCOs, the commission, like you're hitting both sides, you're very
Mhm.
personable, and you get it because you were the extreme. So most people that come to you, you'll be like, Yep, I get it, bro. I was doing the same shit, like
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, the raw, honest truth.
Absolutely, dude. That's great. And the fact that you're alive to be able to provide this service for people now is a
Yes.
true blessing, brother.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Hats off to you. Hats off.
Now that you're sober and you've been sober for a while, what are your favorite aspects of being sober besides the whole weight is lifted thing of kind of learning who Sam is?
I don't get angry, right? I mean, I have my moments, but like I just enjoy today. I just love being present for my wife and my kids.
Mhm.
Like towards the end, like I remember I was driving my daughter. My daughter's 16 now. This is at the end, so she's like 14. I was driving somewhere with my daughter coming off at 83, and some young girl cut me off, and she was coming up to the red light that I was at. I put the car in park. I get
Mm.
out of the car. I'm freaking knife handing this girl. She's just like, "What the and I'm just screaming out like I'm almost ready to punch her side window, and I'm still
Yeah.
I'm drunk, I'm
Uh-huh.
belligerent, I'm out of control, I'm seeing red,
Yep.
and I remember I get back in the car and I slam it back and drive, and I'm motherfucking her, and my daughter's sitting there, and I look over at my daughter, she's just like, what is happening right now?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like this is just so embarrassing. And
Yeah.
and one more thing about my daughter, when I went to rehab the night before I left for rehab, I remember me and my wife sat down and told my daughter, Dad's sick. and I need to go away.
Mhm.
And I've since had conversations with my daughter, and I told my son too when the time was right. As I was making my amends, right,
Mhm.
going through that stuff, I worked through all the steps, and still to this day. But you know, being honest, right? A large part of my retirement speech was talking about my addiction, and I'm proud of it. I'm not ashamed of it. You know, it's
Mhm.
probably one of the greatest achievements I have made in my entire life.
Amen, dude.
It's the most
Yes.
important decision I've ever made. I saved my life. I saved my life and I saved my family. I didn't lose it all.
Sobriety is a superpower. A lot of people don't view it that way, but I do, because we're doing something a lot of people couldn't do, and a lot of people end up dead or in jail because of it. And look at us, sober and thriving.
I was thinking the other day, I'm like, I'm 690 days sober today, man. And like,
Wow.
yeah,
Hats
bro, like
off. Hats
2 years
off.
is coming.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
and every day is a blessing. Every day is beautiful.
Mhm.
Even when it's not, man.
Mm.
Yeah.
Even when it ain't,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because even if nothing happens today, nothing great and wonderful, I am not taking a drink today. I am not
Mhm.
drinking today.
Hmm.
That makes it beautiful,
It's true.
right?
Mhm.
I'm living for today.
Starting the day, you're being who the universe wants Sam DeBold to be. It's
Yes.
freaking
Yeah,
awesome.
bro.
So, what would you tell that person who is, say, you rewind a month back before you quit, like a month prior to quitting, someone in that exact situation? What would you tell that soldier to kind of get out of it and make the decision that you did?
You are not going to find peace at the bottom of the bottle.
Mm.
You are not going to find peace. Um, I was trying to find it at the bottom of the bottle, and it got deeper and deeper. You got to be honest with yourself. If you think you got a problem, if you think you're an alcoholic, you know, if you can't control how much you drink when you start drinking, and if you can't stop on your own devices, you have a problem. And it's
Mhm.
okay. It's not easy. You have to surrender. You have to be honest with yourself, and you have to be willing to want to make a change. Because life is so good. It is so good on this side of the fence, man. I would not ever pick up a drink for the rest of my life because life is too good. I do not want to go back to what I was. My name is Sam DeBold, and that's how I became this sober vet.
If you support veterans choosing sobriety, show it. Like, follow, and subscribe to this Sober Vet podcast. Your support keeps these stories alive.